Welcome to Dan and Mac. Today I'm going to give you my take on the 2016 MacBook Pro. Welcome to the program. Today I am excited. I've been using the MacBook Pro 2016 with Touch Bar for a few weeks now. And I gotta say, this is my first MacBook, so I'm gonna have to say I'm impressed with it. Now this is the maxed out version, 15 inch. I had to get the maxed out version. This is so great. Bring up my screen, would you? Mac OS here, I'm running 10.12.2. This is the latest one as of this recording. 15 inch, late 2016, 2.9 gigahertz, Core i7 that can turbo boost up to 3.8. 16 gigabytes of RAM, DDR3. Everybody's been kind of bitching about that. They wanted the DDR4 or 32 gigs, and it just couldn't be done because of the limitations of Skylake. It also has the Intel HD graphics 530, but now when we come down to system report, this will actually show you, when you go down to your graphics card display, now this is where the 460, Radeon Pro 460, so you got your built-in, and then when it needs the higher load, you switch to your 460. And that's of course to conserve battery power and whatever else. And I will say, first and foremost, I'm giving my take on it. I love the slim factor. It's very slim. I can't get over how slim that is. I don't know if you can see that. That is really thin. And of course, overview of these ports, you got your USB-C, that's it. Thunderbolt 3 USB-C, 4 of them, and your headphone jack, that's it. Now I can see why they wanted to go for just USB-C only, because look how, I don't know if you can really even tell how small those are in camera, but to put a USB-A port on there, they would really have to increase the body of this thing. And it's been nice to just, move around, and it's, hey, I want to go work in the living room today. Pick up your system, go the other way. Because I've come from working on an iMac myself, and you're stuck in your room all day, and you kind of want to move around and do something else. And now I can. So the screen I think is gorgeous. It is 2560 by 1600 pixels. Very nice and clear. You can't even see how clear that is, but it's clear. I mean, I never seen a screen so, gorgeous. But let's talk about the touch bar. That's the main reason for this whole system. Everybody's, it's the new thing. Everybody's got to have the new thing. The touch bar, I will say right off the bat, I think it's a little dim. I really want the brightness to be a little brighter for it. That being said, I think they went as dim as they did, so it kind of blends in with your keyboard. They didn't really want it to pop out at you, but I just feel like you kind of ignore it, for lack of a better term, because it's so it's dull, you don't really look for it. Use-wise, I'm still getting used to it right now. I mean, you can see right here that we got shortcuts for our audio. Hold it, you can slide up and down. It's nice, and I'm starting to get the hang of it, but it's gonna be different for every app. So if you got some apps, always look up at that bar, because there's sometimes I'm doing something and I'm like, I need to do something quick, and it's like I look at the touch bar, bam, that shortcut's right there that I needed. Like a simple one would be Pixelminator. So if I got, let's say I want to scale an image, let's scale the blue dinosaur. I want that blue dinosaur to be bigger. This is the best part I like about this touch bar. We can come over here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in for you. We can come over here, hit transform, and now, when we look back at that dinosaur, I got a nice sliding bar to scale it, right? Nice and easy. This is one of my favorite tips, tricks, shortcuts. This is one of my favorite shortcut on the bar because it makes it so simple. And sometimes I hit a point where it's, you know, it didn't go small enough. It looks like they fixed it in this version. But yeah, I like that. You know, it's simple and you hit OK and you're done. You know, you always got to pay attention to the shortcuts. One thing I really liked, if I'm scheduling, I'm in the calendars app here, if I'm scheduling a new event, let's schedule a New Year's Day party on the 2nd. So a new event comes up, I type what I want, so let's just say Dan's crazy New Year party. Immediately we get options. I love this because it makes it, yeah, I could come here and switch the calendar, but for some reason having it right here, it says work, I can easily just hit that, boom. Oh, I want to change it to home. Done. And we got a scroll bar. You can hit all day right away on the side, or in my case, I'm gonna want like, keep on scrolling here. And of course you can see it's a little touchies. If we take and hold.
I'm not sure what you said.
We take and hold to the right here, we can get over to where we need to be. So if it's a New Year's party, we're gonna want it. It doesn't make sense because New Year's is over I'm scheduling it for the 2nd, but you get the idea. Add invites. It would come up with names. I don't have any names. It'll come up with some suggestions as you type. Just like that. Easily hit the delete button. And now for the calendars, we can easily select the months. I like it. You know, like I said, this stuff, you gotta, every app you open up, it's gonna be different and you gotta constantly check it, and it's gonna take a while to get used to it. You're gonna have to get used to it for your whatever apps you use, you know, because if you're using like Final Cut, I love it on Final Cut. Let's open that up. I know this Final Cut has been shown a million times, but I really love some of those shortcuts. So we got, this is just a test. I'm running a test on the cameras that I did, but easily select that clip, and then we can hit our time, or let's say I wanted to, you know, turn the sound down. This is the most important. I know everybody showed you that. Hit the sound, and then we can easily change the levels. You'll see, if I can go to the audio over here in the corner, you will see as I am adjusting the audio for that clip, it's changing right up here. And I like that because it just keeps you, it's more intuitive. We got fade handles on each side, and we know everybody kind of bragged about that one. So it's very, very, very handy when you need it. Yes, is there shit on there you're not going to use? Sure. But like I said, that's just kind of one of the things that I enjoy, and it makes it nice, you know. Here's a tip for you. I loved it. I found this out. Let's go to a YouTube video. And now we know everybody loves the commercials on YouTube. There's a trick here that I found out. When you bring up a video that has an ad, notice this. What comes up? The bar. You can actually skip the commercial ahead by just scrolling. And then you're good to go.
I hate confrontation.
Will that get fixed down the road? I'm sure it will, because somebody's gonna find it and be like, oh, we can't have that. But that's a little tip that I found out pretty cool. Now I want to talk about Touch ID and actually installing on here, because that is amazing. So one of the things Touch ID is used for, if you're downloading an app and it's asking for authorization, rather than put in your password, you can actually use Touch ID to go ahead and let it install. And now some things, it doesn't. Sometimes you have to enter your password. Like for example, if you want to go into the keychain and access your passwords, then you got to put in your main password. Also, real quick, I'm not going to play anything, but I want to talk about the speakers. Now, the speakers on this thing are amazing. Like I've told you before, I haven't owned a MacBook before, but these speakers sound so like balanced for this thin little design. It's crazy how good it sounds. I'm not even gonna play anything because it ain't gonna matter anyway on camera, but it sounds fantastic for a little laptop like that. This kind of leads me to some of the plans that I actually have for this MacBook. I plan on using this for my main computer. My iMac is gonna be coming out in the studio here. I'm gonna use it for guests for Talk is Cheap. So I'm going through different options on a desk setup. This is gonna be folded up, and then I'm gonna have my ultra wide. And I'm actually looking into getting the external graphics cards too. And now if you could bring my screen up. I've been looking at this Bison box, and this is an external graphics card for the Mac. And this will turn your Mac into basically a Mac Pro. So I'm gonna haul ass. There's gonna be, I guess this guy's, I haven't seen too much. I actually want to see people use the new one with the MacBook Pro. You can see how it handles and how good it performs, but basically we got different graphics cards down here, and they even have the Titan X 12 gigabytes. It's gonna set you back some money. It has $2,000 for that, but that's basically gonna haul ass. And you say, oh, you could get a Windows machine for that price. You know, yeah, that's true, you could, but I love my Macs, you know? Why the fuck would I want to deal with Windows and the problems and the freezing and the formatting and all that garbage? Forget it. Like I said, this is my workstation, so I want to max it out. I want it to feel good. I want it to work good. It's gonna be very spendy for this, but I am thinking that's gonna be great. This comes out in early 2017, it says. I wanna wait for some reviews on it, watch how good it is, and I'll go from there on that, but I'm definitely eyeing that up. I also, the ultra wide I'm looking into is that 38 from LG. Now this thing is a monster, but the thing I'm not liking about it is just one USB-C port, and that's it. But if I get that external graphics card, that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to go from USB-C, external graphics card, and then from the external graphics cards, we're gonna have to come out to DisplayPort on the monitor. And now the reason you wanna do DisplayPort on this particular monitor is because you can actually run that up to 75 Hertz FreeSync. Otherwise you're running at 60 Hertz, which yeah, it's gonna be a little slower for gaming and whatnot. Do I game a lot? No, I don't. There's a few games. I have American Truck Simulator. Speaking of which, let me boot that up, because actually I was quite impressed for a little machine of how much everybody's bitching about it, but I thought it was kind of, there's been a few times it did slow down and stutter a little bit. I think that's where it's coming from, the low graphics cards to the high graphics cards, but I know you can shut that off in, if we go to Energy Saver, we can all switch it right here. Automatic graphics switching, or computer will automatically switch. You can turn that off. And when it's disabled, you always use high performance. But like I said, I can do the swipe up, and sometimes I notice a stutter. The mission control ain't so bad right there, but I've been raving about this game. Yeah. Now we can hit the escape button to bypass that. Feels weird not having a physical escape button, but I'll have to get used to it. If we go to the options, graphics, I have the resolution set really high. Everything's pretty much high and ultra. So let's just go drive. Now keep in mind I'm running ScreenFlow on here so you can see my screen, but yeah, it's stuttering now because I'm running ScreenFlow. There's a lot of it's so bad though. There's a lot going on. But you'll be playing this, and then it'll start ramping up. Your fans will start coming up because it's getting hotter, of course. But it still hasn't ran. When I was running this in high, it still didn't run real hot. Just surprising for all the shit it's pushing. Shit. Now they added some, ooh, they reset all the cities now. So I'll have to explore it all again. Oh, fuck! $1,000 speeding offense. It's so easy to speed in this game, unfortunately. Oops, I can't go that way. See, there was a stutter right there when I did that. To go to the apps. Probably that's 16 gigabytes of RAM, right? Of course, I want to mention too, we got the Siri, which, yeah, you can say, "How you doing, Siri?"
I'm as happy as Finder. Actually, no one's as happy as Finder.
There you have it. That's my take on the 2016 MacBook Pro. I'm enjoying it. This is, like I said, my first MacBook. I love it. The one thing I actually forgot to talk about here real quick, the keyboard. The keyboard was a son of a bitch to get used to because you got that thin travel. That took a while to get used to, but like I said, I got used to it. And it'll come with time. I know one person asked me how the palm rejection worked for the 2016 MacBook Pro, and because it's so much bigger, you know, you're typing, your hands are resting right on that trackpad. And I'll tell you right now, I have not had a problem with that. It's been working fine. I've heard a couple people had problems with it, but I have not myself, so that is about it. I want to thank you for joining me on this edition of Dan and Mac. This is a step up in my game. It's going to transform. Like I said, I'm bringing my iMac out here to the studio. We're going to transform Talk is Cheap, get some guests on, and I think it's going to make a big difference in my life. And yeah, so we'll see you guys later.